Steven, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Steven?
I think.
Guess what time it is?
RAWtalk time.
RAWtalk time.
The
That's
best
right.
time of the week, yeah.
Bringing you RAWtalk. It's so raw that we haven't been sued by WWE yet. I think I had it before them.
You did, and then they started their RAWtalk podcast, or whatever they do.
Or whatever they do. I mean, it's nice to get sued by these people every once in a while. I'm sure someone may look up RAWtalk and think that it has something to do with Raw, except for the fact when you see the logo has a camera in it. Again, it can't be confused. Do not be confused. Don't be confused. Welcome back to RAWtalk episode number 26, where we inch our way closer to 27.
Crazy, right? 26, and then comes 27.
I can't believe it's been a half a year of doing this.
I know.
It's insane.
Time flies.
We appreciate you guys listening. Let me it's that time of the week where, well, you could text us 313-710-9729. We always tell you to do that, and I appreciate that, but there were more Venmos this week, Steven.
Not for me.
Well, I didn't tell you. You didn't send me any. I didn't send you any.
I sent you a bunch of requests, but they all got denied.
I'm not doing that. So let's see. Who was the last one to send me hashtag the Jews from Evan Udell, $50? But you don't get it. You don't get any of that because he's my friend that I've known since he was a kid, and we were in camp together as like 7 and 8 year olds. He's Jewish. So he hashtagged the Jews. $50. And he said, do not give Steven his 12.5%.
Great.
He didn't actually say that, but I'm saying that because I know him. He's my friend.
Let's beg for more free money.
Speaking of free money, $25 from Ryan Wold. I know Steven doesn't want to do it, but we would love video with RAWtalk. Keep up the great work. Well, if you want video with RAWtalk,
if you Venmo me, then maybe that'll happen.
Venmo extra money to at Jared Polin, JARED.
Money that I will not see.
Steven will get 12.5% of all money sent in, not by my friends.
That's not happening.
It probably won't happen. It probably won't happen. We're not really serious, but if you do want to do it, just to let us know you exist and that's what you want, we'll continue to do it. We've got Jeremy Coldro for your thoughts. 1 penny. Thank you.
Is it Jeremy or Jeremy?
Jeremy. Geremy.
It's G.
Jeremy.
Oh. Usually it's with a J.
Coldro. Then we've got Barrett Rise. Thanks for always making me laugh with your podcast. Take $10 and give Steven his 2 because he gave 12. And then we've got Eric Pepple. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to send a sincere thank you for all the wonderful content you all inspire me with. This is for you and Steven to have some Philly pho. I hear Pho 75 on Washington Avenue is the best. Well, speaking of Pho 75, I went to Pho 75.
Here we go.
I went to Pho 75 2 days ago, and I was not very happy. It was okay. It wasn't that good.
Nobody cares.
No, Steven. It wasn't the best. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I got chicken pho, a large bowl. Now, the only difference between a large bowl and a small bowl, large bowl.
One's larger than the other?
Well, one's a bigger bowl, but then they put extra soup liquid in the other. That's it. A large shouldn't just mean more broth. It should mean more noodles and more chicken, God damn it.
Yeah.
You don't agree?
I don't care.
You don't have pho? You don't like pho. I remember when I used to take you to Stock. You're like, I'm not going to Stock.
It was because you went to Stock every single day. That's why.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I went every day.
At one time, you went every day.
Every day, Steven.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to go, because it was
That's
every
why
day.
I wanted to go, because I liked it every day.
Oh, man. Not that I didn't like it, but I just didn't like going every day.
All right, well, Pho 75 was not as good as Pho 88 and not as good as Pho 95 in Florida.
I still don't get the number thing. I really don't.
All right, I'm Googling this right now, Steven. I'm going to Google it.
Get to the bottom of it.
Why do pho places have numbers? It came right up on Google. Names were, of course, one of the first identifiers used, but when two people who both sold pho had the same name, I wonder what those names were, they would use their house or street number to identify themselves. This eventually evolved into the tradition of pho restaurants with names and or numbers.
But then what about Stock? That wasn't called pho whatever number.
That's because that wasn't owned by a Vietnamese guy. That was a white American guy who made Vietnamese style Americanized pho.
But I thought you said the last place you went to was Americanized and it was numbered.
No, that was more Vietnamese pho 88. There were more Vietnamese people running that place than Stock. Stock didn't have any Vietnamese running for it. Let me look up some popular Vietnamese names. Popular Vietnamese names. Just so that we can see what some of these names might be, followed by pho. What are the most common Vietnamese names? An, Chau, Duong, Duong, Giang, Ha. That's enough names. I don't know any of these names. But just think, if they were all trying to name pho and two people had the name Ha, then it would be Ha Pho, and then Ha Pho instead of Ha, who lives at Street 69, would be Ha Pho 69, and then the guy who lives at Pho 87 will be Pho 87.
Cool.
Do you get it, Stephen?
I get it.
Stephen doesn't care. He wants me to move on.org.
Yes.
I was not in a good mood before the RAWtalk started, Stephen.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if it was my lunch or
what happened.
Nothing.
Let's
I had
have
my
a little
normal
therapy
lunch.
session.
I had my normal lunch, Stephen. It
Pho?
was salmon. No, I don't get pho anymore. If I had pho, I would be happy. But no, I don't know if it's because I had a couple of pretzels with it, and maybe the pretzels are interacting with my body weirdly, because it's like dead, wasted carbs.
Man,
so
you
I don't know.
Food.
Well, my life is driven by food.
It really is.
Maybe
everything
after
is dictated by your meals.
Yeah, well, I may just leave here after and go take a walk or something and see if it's the activity thing. I mean, I didn't work out today because I worked out yesterday, and I'll be working out tomorrow, and I'll be working out Friday morning with my trainer. And I did, the roof is being torn off the other place.
One of your 7 buildings?
The 4. The roof is being torn off at the other place, Stephen. How dare you? Where do you think all the Venmo money goes?
Exactly. You know how many buildings I have? 1.
How many, Stephen?
1.
That's more than many. You should be very thankful for your one building.
For my 12% that I'm not getting.
Yeah, that's right. You have 12% holdings compared to me. Oh yeah. So anyway, I sometimes my mood is shifted by food and all that stuff, and
it really is.
So we're actually recording a couple days early because we usually do this on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and Thursday is the Thanksgiving. What are you doing for the Thanksgiving, Stephen?
Just hanging out with the family, having a nice big dinner.
What, is there like 100 people in this family?
No, I'll be at Nicole's family's, my wife's house.
Oh, so there's like 3?
There's not many, yes. Compared to my side of the family, yeah, there's only a couple of us.
Yeah, I'm going out to dinner with my brother. We're going out to dinner this year.
Where are you guys going? Pho?
He didn't. A place called Nico's. I guess it's Italian. And do you know what I asked him about? He's like, hey, would you mind? Would you cool if we go out to dinner? He's like, because we've done a bunch of family dinners recently where he's been cooking, and he's like, would you
take the year
cool
off
with us
going
out to dinner? I mean, I'm still going to go over to the house and hang out beforehand. And I'm like, yeah. My only question really is it a prefixed menu? He's like, no. And I'm like, good, because he didn't want a prefixed menu either, because they're the worst. I hate prefixed menus for holidays when you go places, because then they just pre-make all the shitty food, kind of like weddings, Stephen. Shitty wedding food. Your food wasn't bad. I enjoyed those carrots, and I
thought
enjoyed
my
the
filet
fish.
was incredible.
Well, I mean, you had a filet. You had surf and turf, but everybody else didn't get that.
Because it was my wedding.
Yeah, I didn't eat the mac and cheese because I don't eat mac and cheese.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have pho there.
You didn't have pho, but you had not matzo balls. You had mozzarella balls.
Yes.
Not mozzarella. I ate a lot of the mozzarella balls.
They were delicious.
Well, I was standing next to Todd, and then Dan was there. Dan was like, "This is the best coffee I've ever had. This is my 7th cup of coffee. Because I need to drive home. It's gonna take an hour and 20 minutes because I gotta drive home, and I had 7 cups of coffee. It's like the greatest coffee ever." I wish you guys could see my face if you were watching the video feed, which you're not, but you could be if you send us $29.95 a month.
Nope.
No, you don't do that. Well, but I could put this video up on like Vimeo or something, or I could put it up as unlisted and give people a link to get to. I could do something like that.
You got to understand, we can't just put it up raw. There's still a lot of stuff we cut out.
You got to edit it.
Yes.
Sorry, Stephen. We
it would
can't
be the
do
same thing as before. We'd run into
Guys,
the same issue. You would say it's taking too long.
It's taking too long.
Exactly.
We can't
I say it every time.
He says it every time.
I'm fine with stuff. It's just you will say it's taking too long.
And it's probably taking too long, Stephen.
Even though it's like 3 hours of editing and you're like, oh, it's too long.
We should have a dedicated RAWtalk editor.
We did. That was Dan's job, basically, when he first came on.
Oh, really? That was Dan's job?
It was Dan, yeah.
Even though he didn't have a microphone, he would edit.
I mean,
he did do that.
That's pretty much what I did, too, coming on board in the way beginning. I mean,
that was your fault.
10
you
years.
asked to do it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to bring your shitty video quality RAWtalk up to the standards
What
of
about
YouTube.
shitty audio quality?
Yeah, I brought that up, too.
And ours wasn't
It still
even
looks like
standard.
crap when you look back, but that, we were dealing with 2012, 2013 technology at the time.
Yeah, old Nikons that we were filming with.
And it was one of those, like, let's make something out of nothing, see what we have. I think we were using all your gear, pretty much what you had around your house. There was really nothing that we bought extra for RAWtalk, right?
No, we had the GoPro, and then we made that where Nikon set us up with gear to use that we then would send back every time they came out with a new body. So, we did D610s, then we did D750s, then we had D850s as our video cameras on set.
But in the way beginning, I remember I brought my 5D Mark III in. You had your like D3S or something like that. We had the GoPro. It was all kind of mixed matched cameras and lighting, and it was all over the place. There
was quite a lot to do back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to do that. What was I talking about? I forget, Stephen.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. I'm going to get chicken parm. I think
that's always a good choice.
Yeah, because
solid, safe choice when you're hungry.
Well, but you know that when the Pilgrims landed here, they were definitely nice to the native people. I love how the history of Thanksgiving is so whitewashed at this point. It's not even funny that they think that the Pilgrims were really nice to that the native people were like, yeah, sure,
come take our land, no problem.
Yeah, come here. Well, let us make you dinner. Yeah, we're gonna make you dinner. Don't try to enslave us or put us into plantations or give us diseases. Oh, join us for dinner. Yeah. That sounds like it could have happened that way, or it could have happened the other way where they just point their muskets and say, fuck you, we're going to take your land. What are you going to do about it, Chief Littlefoot? And he's like, well, I'm going to scalp you if I get you. So that's the story of Thanksgiving. Remember when we did that on RAWtalk and someone animated it, the story of Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
That was probably one of the funniest animations or something that people sent in. I did forget that we used to submit
We used to do
movie
memes
posters.
of the week and movie
memes of the
posters,
week.
all kinds of stuff, yeah.
God, what a show. That was so far
we had
advanced.
some dedicated listeners and fans, yeah.
We did. I can't believe we ruined it. No, but it's good. I'm not upset.
Take that back.
I'm not upset, Stephen. I'm not upset. Stephen, if RAWtalk never
You're not
got
upset,
changed,
but you bring it up all the time.
Guess what would have never come out? Presets. And guess who wouldn't have a house? You.
I would still have a house. I still have a job.
Maybe. Yeah, you would have a job, but
you
it
act
wouldn't
like I have
be
a mansion.
You wouldn't have that $12,000 lawnmower.
And you wouldn't have 7,000 homes.
I know. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have 4 houses to worry about. But yeah, the new roof is going on over there on the warehouse side, and that's where a studio is being put together. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to be put together. That's what I'm spending the money on in the next year to get the insides all worked up and ready to go for just parking my car.
That's where
basically.
all the Venmo money's going.
Yeah, Venmo money. But part of it is being that I will have I have the garage so I can park my car, but I'll be able to park multiple cars in there, turn them around, and even store like Ferraris or Lamborghinis or high-end cars that these car companies will start sending us so we can make content with them. That's the idea.
Yeah, because you know so much about cars.
Dude, it doesn't matter what I know about cars. Most people don't care. Most people don't know. We're going to use the cars.
So you think a majority of people watching car content on YouTube are not car enthusiasts and know nothing about cars?
I'm not a car enthusiast, and I watch some of it. And
I
if they get
guarantee
too
a
detailed, I
majority
don't.
of those people are super high-end car enthusiasts.
No, not all of them. I don't agree. I watch Jay Leno's Garage.
So that's like saying non-photographers are watching our photography content.
Some people do.
I agree. Some people definitely do. But I think a majority of the people at least know about photography.
I mean, you don't have sex, but you watch porn, so what's the difference?
Funny.
Wait, I'm the single one. Shit.
I was going to say.
But
let's flip that around.
I do both. You could take that either way. Not true, Steven.
Anyway, moving on. Aren't we talking about Thanksgiving dinner here or something?
We were talking about Thanksgiving dinner. I forgot. So my dad will be there, and then the twins. Do you know what I'm getting the twins for their birthday? It's December 7th is their birthday. They're going to be 8, I think. They'll be 8.
Wow.
They'll be 8. They got them when they were like 2.5. Mm-hmm. So they saved out, getting them a little late at 2.5. But they like to wrestle me. No, they like to fight me because they think they can beat me up. I'm strong. Like, look at me, strong like bull. And so I sometimes I say no because I don't feel like wrestling or fighting them. Depends on my mood. But I ordered a boxing bell yesterday. It should be here today. An actual boxing bell. It was $79. Very well spent. Very well spent, $79. And I will take it over there, and they're each going to get tickets. I may give them like 4 tickets each worth 5 minutes of fighting me, and they can't be used at the same day. Right? Like, I'm thinking about the rules here, but I'm thinking like, can they both use a ticket for 5 minutes? Now, or I think I've got an idea. Being that I'll make them both use a ticket to fight me for the same 5 minutes, so that it's a Royal Rumble for 5 minutes, but they both have to use a ticket. So that means they only
do like a cage match too, or something like that.
This is it. Well, Jason's going to jump off the top belt buckle. He's going to try and hit me. He's going to try and do something, and I'm going to pin him to the ground, and I'm going to beat him, and he worries like, you never let me win. Yeah, you're never going to win.
I just took the time to look and see if Michael Buffer has a cameo, and he does, and you should totally get him to record Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
No, how much is that bullshit?
It's $300.
I'm not paying Michael Buffer. What about it? Look up his
brother. Book a personalized video for $300.
Look up his brother. His brother.
Who's his brother?
Michael Buffer's the original one. Isn't it like Bill Buffer?
You're going to cheap out for the twins?
No, I don't want to get his brother. What's his brother's name?
I don't know.
You got, or you could get
Bruce Buffer?
Bruce Buffer. He sucks. Bruce Buffer is the cheap man's, what's the other guy? Michael Buffer. He is. So he's the one who does like UFC. He's like, it's showtime. It's showtime.
That would be funny if you spent all that money and you showed the twins the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, and they're like, who's that?
In this corner, weighing 213 pounds, Steven Eckert.
Ooh, yeah.
In this corner, we have the hairy Mambo number 5, Frodo's Photo, weighing in 178.1 pounds of muscle and fury and fire with ass of steel. Are we ready? You all know the rules. Let's go! And then if it's Michael Buffer, it's like, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get ready to rumble.
So he used to get $1 million an appearance to do that. Now he's getting $300 on Cameo.
Now he's getting $300. Yeah.
Didn't your wife buy you a cameo of the teacher from
Mr. Feeney,
Boys to Men?
Yep. William Daniels.
Not Boys to Men.
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Yep. Love
Can
that
I
show.
get something from Topanga though?
Oh, Topanga Lawrence. What's up,
dude?
Childhood crush right there.
Yeah, I was more Winnie Cooper.
Topanga all day, man.
Hey, Danica.
I mean, Winnie Cooper. Danica. She's a little hottie too.
Yeah, but she's also a rocket scientist nerd.
Topanga was a super nerd on Boy Meets World.
Not in the real world, though. There's a difference because Danica McKellar,
but we're not in the real world. That's the thing.
This isn't about fantasy. Speaking of not the real world, Steven, this is a good transition into a note that I have here. Have you ever seen Notting Hill?
Terrible transition.
Oh my God, it was so good. No, because it's about fake. The movie is about an actress who falls in love with a normal guy. Who was the normal guy? What's that guy's name again? He slept with that. He got caught with a transvestite. I don't think you call people transvestites anymore, but this was back in the day. It was a transgendered person, I don't know what term to use. It was back in the day.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He was married to,
This guy's in Notting Hill in the movie?
Yeah, 4 weddings and a funeral, He was married to that hot girl from Bejeweled, that movie with Brandon Fraser.
Hugh Grant?
Hugh Grant, yeah, him.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, let me Google Hugh Grant and what the proper terms I should be using here.
What is it? Is it Love Actually? I think I always watch with him.
Oh God, yes.
That's a cheesy rom-com right there.
No, that is a great movie because Keira Knightley is in it.
I know. Your favorite.
Oh my God. Yeah. Here it is. Hugh Grant cheated on Elizabeth Hurley with prostitute Divine Brown because he was in a bad mood after watching of his own movies. The actor's 60. That's funny. Why did he do that? In an interview on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, a British star admitted that his unease after watching his Hollywood debut film 9 Months led to the incident. He attended a screening of the film.
Oh, that was real? I thought you were making that up.
No, he did do this.
Oh, man.
He really did do this. He oh my God, Elizabeth Hurley. Oh my Jesus. Look at those. Her eyes, I mean. Look at her eyes. They're gorgeous. Look at Divine. Wow, look at her. She's Divine Brown on the right after nabbing their illicit sexual liaison in a car park near Los Angeles, Sunset Boulevard. Look, whatever he wants to do. First off, we're going to go down this road, Stephen, this road that you probably don't want to go down. But what I will say is sex work is work, and sex work should be legal. And if people so choose to want to utilize their body to make money, then there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's done in a safe manner and people are not at risk. I'm a big proponent of it, not saying that I would do it. I mean, maybe I would be the sex worker, but not that I would do the paying part, but nothing wrong with sex work. If that's how someone wants to make money, then go do it, as long as it's safe and as long as no one's getting taken advantage of. That's my PSA for today, Stephen.
Yeah.
But anyway, Notting Hill, I've never watched it. So I've never watched it.
You're funny with movies, because when you do really like a movie, you will talk about it for like months.
I do.
You do.
So I'm sitting there. I started the movie. I'm like, this is cute. This is funny. I like this movie. I did an hour of it then one night, and then I did an hour of it last night, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
Midway and then finished it the next day?
That's usually what I do with my women, yeah. Yeah, I stop midway and then finish the next day.
You are a psycho.
No, Steven,
you didn't finish the movie.
No, because wouldn't have been over till after midnight, and I had to get up.
But then you just don't start it.
Stephen, I wasn't aware that I was going to watch this movie. It just came up. It just so happened to show up on my feed in the Netflix, and I'm like...
Was it one of those, like, you're nodding off, and you're like, oh, actually, this is kind of good. Let me keep watching it.
No, I just finished something else, and so I was like, I don't know. I saw Notting Hill, and I'm like, I've never watched this. I think I watched a trailer. That's what it was.
I don't think I've ever seen
the trailer. It. I watched a trailer for it, and I thought it was cute. Yeah, it's on Netflix, Notting Hill.
All right, I'm adding it to the queue.
Yeah, watch it with your woman.
I do love me a good rom-com, not going to lie.
I love rom-coms. You know, I love romantic comedies. I like 500 Days of Summer.
Our tastes are very similar with that stuff, for sure.
Are they, though, Stephen?
They are.
Like, give me an example. Do you got any examples on the top of your head?
Superbad. We both, I mean, that's not a rom-com, but I'm just saying.
That's a very good rom-com because... what are you going to use? Your little bottle of spermicide lube with your little penis? What? How? You picked McLovin?
I got to get me a look at those warlocks.
You picked McLovin? That's the dumbest name ever. You picked it. No, it's not. It was between McLovin and Muhammad. Muhammad? Well, yeah, Muhammad is the most popular name in all of the world.
Read a freaking book.
Oh, God, that's so good. That movie's so good. But anyway, Notting Hill, I do recommend it if you're sitting around even by yourself and you want to feel down about yourself. If you're single, you can watch this movie and feel even more down about yourself for being single during the holidays. And then it was good. It was good. I really liked it. It doesn't happen like that in real life, but maybe it could.
Have you ever seen The Holiday? I feel like you would really like that movie too.
Is that the one where Kate Winslet's in The Holiday?
Jack Black.
No, I didn't see that one.
You would love that. I guarantee it. It's definitely a very cheesy rom-com. Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
And it takes place this time of year, like right around Christmas time, the holidays.
Right.
It's about being single and all that.
I saw The Holiday.
No, just The Holiday.
The Holiday. Mm-hmm. I'm Googling this. The Holiday movie, 2006.
It's a good one.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You know, because Eli Wallach is in it, whoever the hell that is. Kate Winslet's in it. I think I've seen her boobs. I've seen her boobs.
He's in it too. Yep.
I've seen his penis. I heard it's really big.
What?
No, it's really a thing. I think Jude Law. Let me look this up. Jude Law's penis. right? He showed it at some point, right? Jude Law and Leonardo DiCaprio make the list of smallest penises. Oh, wait, that's what came up on Google. I thought he had a big one. Well, I know Orlando Bloom had a big one. Orlando Bloom penis. Orlando Bloom says his penis isn't really that big. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he sent a picture to Katy Perry or something. Yeah, thanks. Now you know. The more you know, guys, on this holiday. This is why we get Venmos, Steven. More talk about men's junk. But we have to be equal opportunity. I didn't talk about many boobs in this episode because it's all right. We're equal opportunity here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Notting Hill, guys, I highly suggest that you go watch it.
23 years later, I highly suggest watching it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So we're going to talk about a couple of things now that we're going to get into this episode. We're going to talk about some Black Friday stuff. We're going to talk about this Kickstarter for Covered. We're going to talk about blurry wedding photos. We've been sitting on this story for like a month because we've just been super busy and it hasn't fit in. And I really want to discuss this quote and air quote photographer woman that's doing weddings. I'm going to read this. It's really upsetting. Steven wants to talk about Lightroom masking in the updated 12.0 and 12.01 Lightroom. I want to talk about the cameras that are on the SLS, the Space Launch System, as well as the Orion spaceship, and why Nikon cameras were selected by NASA way back in the day to be the official cameras for NASA to go up into space and stuff. All right, so I decided that I'm going to run a few Black Friday to December 4th type of sales. And like I've said before, I'm not a big fan of devaluing products, but I talked it over with Steven. He made some valid points, and I've decided to put a couple of things on sale until December 4th. And by December 4th, I really mean December 4th. So here's what we've got. The triple play bundle that includes Fro Pack 1, Fro Pack 2, Fro Pack 3, and of course, Skittles from Fro Pack 1 is going to be $10 off. So instead of $90, it's going to be $80. You have to go to fronosphoto.com/FroPack3. That's where you will see the discount when you get to checkout. But also, because the Super Huger Mega Camera giveaway is still running, you will get 300 bonus entries when you get the triple play bundle. Now, those bonus entries will be added on the back end on my side. You won't see them reflected on the contest page where you're at, but I will see them here. And that also makes you eligible for the extra $1,500 bonus. So instead of $34.99 to spend on anything you want at Allen's Camera, it's going to be $4,999 to spend on anything at Allen's Camera if you're the grand prize winner. So again, if you want the triple play bundle up until December 4th, you can save $10 and you will score 300 extra entries into the Super Huger Mega Camera giveaway. The other one that I know some people would like me to do is giving a discount on 15-minute rapid fire critiquersons. Now, normally they're $99. I'm going to knock that down to $89. At checkout, you'll see $89. That's what you'll pay until December 4th. That's going to give you a 15-minute rapid fire critique. That is a recorded rapid fire critique where I take up to 50 of your images and give them a critiquerson. But for one person that purchases a rapid fire critique from now until December 4th, I will upgrade one person for free to a one-on-one mentorship call with me. That's a 45-minute live one-on-one mentorship call with me. So there's going to be a good chance that you could win this. I don't know how many people will sign up for a rapid fire critiquerson. If it's 10, if it's 20, if it's 50, you have a chance to get upgraded to a one-on-one mentorship call. I am going to put the shirts up for sale, and I'm going to explain why. Because we have to switch shirt stores again. And a couple years ago, I switched over to these merch people that do the manufacturing, they do the printing, and then they do the warehousing, and they do the picking and shipping, and they do a great job for it. They do like MGKs, Machine Gun Kellys. They do all that. They do large bands. I'm not a large band. They so happen to work with me because I have a friend who works for them, and he got me in, and they do a fantastic job. Their quality is good. Their shipping is great. The only issue is we don't move enough inventory to make it worthwhile, meaning we were in like a when I have to switch to a new store, or when I used to do the store myself, I would have $7,000 to $10,000 worth of inventory at all times. So you don't recoup money very quickly when it comes to merch unless you're selling thousands upon thousands of shirts, which when we sold the
Australian
Save
benefit
the Rainforest,
shirt, right?
the Australian Fire benefit shirt before the pandemic, we raised like $18,000 or $20,000. We sold over 1,000 shirts. It was insane. It was. I'm not sure if we could replicate that again, but it was pretty cool that we were able to do that. So we may go back to that model. The reason we went away from me doing the shipping here is because it took away a lot of time. We had Dan doing the shipping in between editing stuff, and it just meant that edits weren't getting done. And shirts are not that profitable, right? If you sell a shirt for $20, $25, there's a little bit of profit in there, but there's also a lot of time. Someone's got to ship the shirt. Someone's got to pack the shirt. Someone's got to send them, please. Someone's got to drop them off. And it's a lot of work. And I did that since day one. And I used to push a lot of shirts, and we did a lot.
That's all you had in the way beginning, was when it was just you. It was really just pushing shirts. You didn't have a guide. You didn't have any other digital products, right?
No, it was shirts since 10 days in.
And we never push shirts anymore. I mean, I try to get you to almost talk about it more often, but it's very rare when we do a plug unless it's some kind of organic plug in a video.
Yeah.
For shirts.
At this point, I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if we're going to go back to Bonfire and just do one-off shirts, and that means that I'm just going to do a limited edition 2-week sale for each shirt, and then when it goes away, we come up with a new one, and that's it. We may do that, but for what's left in the store, it's store.fronosphoto.com. So it's whatever stock is left. Use the code RAW46, that's RAW46, at checkout, 46% off. Shirts are like $20 to $25. So you're basically getting shirts for the cheapest that they've been since they used to be $11.99 in 2010. So whatever stock is there, sell them out, buy however many you can of the sizes that you want. I'm assuming there's not a lot of larges and extra larges left at this point. Those are the ones that go first. There's smalls, there's mediums, there's 2Xs and 3Xs and some 5Xs. Yeah. So you want to do that, that's Raw 46. But I'm not going to be, look, what I'll say is if someone's having a hard time, right, and you can't afford something right now.
Yeah.
Just send me a message. Send me an email to support@fronosphoto.com and just tell me what's up. Make it quick, right? Not physical products, but digital products. Like if you want to learn photography and you want my beginner guide, I'll send you my beginner guide if you can't afford it. Because I used to give that. I gave that away before the pandemic.
Gave away all the guides during the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in hard straits, right, and you just want to learn or you want to try something and maybe pay back in the future, just send me a message. I've done that in the past. Plenty of people have sent me messages. I'm not saying if you want free shit, send me a message.
I was going to say, don't ask for a free camera, which we get often.
Well, I get that all the time. Speaking of free cameras, I gave one away today.
Oh, yeah?
The guy that's doing my roof, right? he asked me, no, there's like a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of guys out there in the crew, but the guy heading the crew, he's like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a photographer. He's like, that's what I wanted to do, but I never really got into it, and I just take basic pictures. And he's like, I never learned. I never did anything. So when I went back, I brought him a camera and a lens, and I'm like, here you go. Go do it. Go do the thing you wanted to do.
Wow.
Right? So I gave him a camera. So I don't have a lot of lenses left, Steven.
Yeah, you gave a lot to that one classroom, right?
Well, I gave him a 600 f4. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's a $10,000 lens that you don't know how to use.
I gave him an 80D. I think an 80D is a good camera for someone who just wants to take pictures and hasn't learned before. And the choices of lenses, there were 70 to 300. There's 35 1.4s. There's a couple of 16 to 35 2.8s.
Do you have 24 to 1.5s?
They're all gone. They're all gone.
Yeah.
There's only there's a couple of 70-200s, and there's 100 to 400. There's 14 100 to 400s, now 13, because I gave him a 100 to 400. I'm like, this is going to be good for shooting outside if you want to just get out and shoot some nature stuff. So I gave him that lens, which at some point was probably a $2,000 L lens.
If it's an L lens, yeah, they're pricey.
That's a version 1, not a version 2, which still sells for like $2,200. But anyway, it's just, he said that he always wanted to shoot and he never got into it and he never was able to. So I was like, here you go. Handed him a bag with everything he needed, and then we'll see what happens. So I like doing stuff like that. It's
great.
Right? When it's my choice and not someone trying to give me a sob story. Yeah.
Well, usually they don't even give you a sob story. They're just like, give me camera now, bye.
That's they usually come from India. Yeah. They usually come from India. A lot of those do come from India. Yeah. Hello, sir. I want free camera. Send it to me. Or someone's like, could you sell me a 70 to 200 for less expensive than the stores? That would be helpful. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, and are you buying anything for Black Friday? Is there anything you're looking for? Because I don't buy shit. Oh,
well, I mean, for me, I'm definitely a buyer. I do partake in Black Friday sales for sure when it comes to holiday gifts.
But it's usually not even good sales.
Well, that's the thing. It has to be worth it. Like we're going to buy a family gift for my parents. I'm not going to say it on here just in case they are listening, which I highly doubt they are. But the product that we're buying is like $350 off. So it's well worth it for this specific thing that we're buying.
Does it suck?
It might suck, yes.
It mops. No, I don't know what it does.
Yeah, it might mop too.
That's a great gift, Steven.
Yes. So that's the plan. That's the big gift that I'm going to be buying during Black Friday. The rest of the stuff, it's probably just little things here and there, if I find something decent.
I was thinking of buying another building.
The thing about Black Friday, though, it's usually a bunch of crap that it's leftover inventory that they're trying to sell, or an older model product, and hey, usually if you always wanted that one specific product, then it is worth it. But for me, it's like I'm not going to buy something just because it's $1 off or $5 off. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to buy?
What? I
go to a place. Steven Starr has all these restaurants in Philly.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah. Did I talk about it last week?
Yeah.
Oh, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know officially I've come up with the game plan and the amount of money I'm going to spend because I found out what it is.
What's the max that you can get?
I don't know, but it's buy one, get half. So if you spend 100, they give you 50 on top of it.
This is a gift card you're talking about.
Yeah, gift card.
Can't beat it.
You know how much I'm going to spend?
1,000.
How much?
You're gonna spend 1,000 and get 500 free.
No, how many thousand?
2,000?
2,000. I'm going to spend 2,000.
Oh.
And I get 1,000 back. That's $3,000 of food.
So that's the max, correct?
No, there is no max. How can there be a max, Steven?
Wow.
Because look, if I went on and I bought one for $1,000, and then I went on again and bought another for $1,000, and then I went on again and bought another for $1,000, I would keep getting gift cards.
I just mean per transaction. Is there a max?
I have no idea.
Like if you're like, hey, I'm going to drop 20 grand on this gift card to get 10 grand worth of free food.
I'm sure they would do it. I'm sure they would because they would think that maybe you're not actually going to use the whole thing.
I mean,
and
it might be worth it for you.
I'm not going to drop 20 G's, but 2 grand, that 3,000, that should take me through the next year for eating at their restaurant.
Yeah, that's great. That's well worth it.
I do eat out. I go to Morimoto all the time. That's sushi, and so you're dropping $100 if you don't drink alcohol, roughly every time you're there.
It's $200.
So that's like 10 free fucking meals for me at Morimoto. So I frequent quite a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. That's the only thing I'm going to buy. And Kyoko at Morimoto is going to drop me a line so I don't forget this year. Because last year I missed it. But I still.
Is it only during Black Friday, or is it extended like 7 times?
No, they don't extend it. That's I hate that.
Me too.
And then
now Black Friday sales are starting like this past Monday.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
Instead of it extending, it's now starting before Black Friday, like a week or two in advance.
That's because they're trying to get the money before other people spend it.
And I get it. The past 2 years, I'm sure they've been hurting with the pandemic and everything. So.
No, they haven't been. They really haven't.
I'm talking about like small businesses and stuff like that.
I guess.
We'll see what happens. Behemoths. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting year to see if the what happens with inflation, what happens with business.
Yep.
See if all our advertisers are going to still want to come back and advertise. We may need to start asking for Venmo. No, I think regardless of advertisers, whether you lose them or you don't, I think we'll be fine in the position that we're in because we sell our own products. We aren't fully beholden to one thing over one revenue stream over the other. Now, when you combine them and add them all up, it's great. But if you lose one, then the others pick up. If you lose, that's how it works. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket and expect to, survive if something happens. But our plan for the next year, we're planning on 2 new products for next year. I mean, I've been planning on that for a while, but the beginning of the year, FroPack 4, when that's ready to go, and then hopefully by September, October, we get the next video guide out that I really, really, really want to finally get out. Because as I've said before, this type of guide where you see me on photo shoots, that stuff and the education and going through images and showing how I edit and showing how I cull, that stuff, when people do watch it on YouTube, they love it, except for the fact we can't get enough people to watch it, and people would actually pay for it because it is quality content.
And I think as a general preview of what we're thinking of, if you ever go back to our Vintage Liberty shoot, it's the D1X photo shoot. If you just search that up on YouTube, it's kind of like that model where we literally take you from start to finish. We show you what gear we're taking, what we're thinking, what we're pre-visualizing. We do the actual photo shoot, we come back and edit, and then we do the final reveal. I think we're going to do a bunch of little mini photo shoots like that.
You will do right, and each one will have a specific focus of topic.
Yep,
like,
whether it be sports or portraits or low light or landscape. Your favorite landscape. Yep.
No, we're not doing landscapes. Or me using an old school camera, right, to show people that it can be done. That's part of the point. But the other part is, it's not just the photo shoots, but it's how do you select the winning images? How do you select the best
culling
of the
process?
Best?
Yep.
That's something that I've seen when I've put out the videos, the stuff that professional photographers won't show you, but I will, that people seem to enjoy, because I've always said it, very few people will show you the bad with the good. They'll just show you the best of the best with honor, sir, and they'll leave out the other stuff.
Well, and most people will show you a shortened 10-minute version of the culling process where, honestly, if I'm really trying to learn, I don't mind sitting through an hour long of you going through every single photo in real time and seeing what you select and why you don't select it, why you do select it, what you do to it, how you manipulate it, whatever it may be.
Yep. Let's move on to the covered thing.
Yes.
A couple years ago, they came out with the universal lens cap, and they did send it to us, but it was terrible. It was not great to use, and I wasn't going to use it. I didn't mind
the universal aspect of it, where you really could put it on pretty much any lens. I did like that, but I don't.
Do you remember what the issue was?
Wasn't it expensive or something?
It wasn't. Well, maybe, but that's because they're a small company and they're trying to succeed, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But the issue was you couldn't quickly take a lens cap. You couldn't take the thing off and on with one hand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I'm always putting lens, that stuff back on or back off. So that just didn't work. But they're now back with the universal lens. No, what are they back with?
The Cosmo cap and satellite.
Cosmo cap and satellite. And anodized aluminum body cap for E-mount and Cine PL E-mount and Canon RF and EF, as well as their Cinema PL mount. And it's a cap that's made
Sorry,
of
Nikon users.
Yeah, no Nikon users. It's made of aluminum, anodized aluminum, and it has an area inside of the cap to put a AirTag, an Apple AirTag. This is a
body cap, not a lens cap.
It's a body cap, which what I didn't say in Photo News Fix this week is, well, usually when you're using the gear, you take the cap off, and if someone steals your shit, then they're not going to be able to track it anyway because you took the cap off, right? The body cap.
Which is why I still prefer our method of trying to put it in a battery grip or trying to put it in the actual battery compartment somewhere, hiding it in the actual physical camera.
Well, the other issue with this thing is they want $50 for the cap, for the body cap.
They do.
And that's the, $60 or more for one Cosmo cap. Oh, early bird is $50.
No, it's $50 and then it's $80 for MSRP, retail value.
Yeah, $80. That's insane for a body cap. It costs $7.95 for a Canon body cap, by the way. And there's nothing wrong with a plastic body cap. I've never broken one. So my recommendation to them would have been able to have plastic body caps made and sell them for $17.95 or $20 that do the same exact thing instead of trying to sell for $50 to $80 is insane.
So my initial concern when I looked at this body cap is they have this cavity in the back of it which fits your AirTag or a tile or any of those devices for tracking.
I know where you're going with this, Steven.
I wasn't sure. Are they sticking this satellite inside the cap where it could almost fall out into your sensor, or is it actually... I couldn't tell if it was two separate pieces put together or if it's one solid piece.
It looks like the satellite is part of
the cap.
Is part of the cap. If you buy the cap,
it comes with the satellite already attached.
That's what I think so. It says hidden cavity, and it looks just like the satellite. But yeah, it is possible that if that thing, the adhesive comes off, it ends up fucking your camera.
But is it adhesive is what I'm asking. Is it something different when it's attached to the cap already? Because if that's the case, then I don't really mind. But if it's just adhesive, what if you're just in a general really hot environment and it melts off and it drops into your sensor if you don't, or it hits your shutter that's blocking the sensor? It's going to damage everything. I don't know. Oh, it might not be that way, but who knows?
It's not for me. It's not for me.
That would be my only concern.
That and the price is just astronomical.
The price is insane. Now, the 4 satellite pack that you can buy for $15, I thought that was terrible. Decent, but you could just go on Amazon and they sell plenty of those same types of satellite packs where you can just buy an adhesive AirTag holder and put it on anything. And it's $10, I think, on Amazon.
I get
they already
it, Steven.
exist. You wouldn't have to wait till the Kickstarter's over.
No, I mean they're funded, but they only looked for like $5,000 in funding. They only have 200 and some backers currently.
Well, but what I'm saying is you have to wait the 60 days, and then who knows how long until they actually ship. And I mean, I had a Kickstarter from years ago that I just got this past year.
Yeah, you did. Changing gears, why don't you talk about Lightroom masking that you discovered?
So Lightroom got updated, I guess, in October, and I must have missed it, but I was recently editing my nephew's baptism photos, and I wanted to whiten some teeth up and clean some blemishes off the face and everything like that. So I went into the brush mode, the adjustment brush, and I realized that you can now select the subject and the background and people and everything like that, which I think that's been a thing for quite some time, but now it will actually tell you which subject you want to select. Like there's person 1, 2, and 3. And then when you select that, say person 1, for example, it will mask that person. And then it gives you like a sub menu below that, which will then let you mask just their eyes, just their teeth, just their face, just their body, their torso, whatever it may be. It splits it up into all these different sub levels. So you can easily simply mask like the teeth to whiten them up. And that's always been a thing for me where it takes an extra couple minutes on each photo to whiten someone's teeth up or something like that, or the irises of the eye, brighten them up. And now it's literally one click and the AI does it for you. And it does a really accurate job. I would say even more accurate than me doing it manually. I was blown away and I did not realize this. I feel like Lightroom barely made a big deal out of this, Adobe.
Yeah, it's that whole masking. They did a little while ago before one of these updates where
you could do the sky,
could select
I
the
think,
sky,
right? Yeah.
Right, and you could brighten a certain area, it's pretty powerful stuff.
And I noticed it gets confused sometimes if, say, my sister's holding my nephew. It will think it's like one person or something, but it still does a pretty good job. For the most part, most of those photos where she was holding him, it still knew that there was 2 separate people there, and it would mask it out, even around the hair and everything. It did a really incredible job. I mean, this AI technology that they're putting out there is spot on.
It is. I don't know that I will utilize it too much, but it is pretty amazing the control.
But now I just find myself saving a lot of time than having to do it fully manual like I had to do in the past. And before you had like the luminosity masking and that kind of stuff where it would definitely help. But now with the AI and picking out people specifically, time saver for sure.
Yep. So check it out. If you haven't done Lightroom yet, update it to 12.0. If you pay for the subscription, you can update it. I actually, when I went away to NASA, had no idea that this existed. The other guy was editing when we were at the airport. He's like, oh, do this. And I'm like, I don't have those buttons. I'm like, oh, I'm on 11.5 or something. I wasn't updated.
I think it was 12.0 was the big update.
Yeah.
Was he trying to tell you to like mask out the sky or something like that?
He was trying to tell me to do some kind of vertical something or other.
I try and check the changelog notes after each update just to see what got released, because Adobe really doesn't do a great job of, really harping on certain big things that have been introduced into Lightroom.
Yeah. Let me move on to this blurry photo thing that I've wanted to bring up for weeks, but it hasn't fit in. Petapixel did an article. This is back on October 24th, so we're already a month ago. I really wanted to do this, but the headline says, wedding photographer says more clients are requesting blurry pictures. And
I
wanted to punch someone in the face. It says, wedding photographer Asantae, Asantae.
I don't know.
Asante? That's not Ashanti, is it?
No, I would say ASH would be Ashanti.
We're going to Google. We're going to have Google.
Asante?
Asante? It's got to be Ashanti, man. It's got to be Ashanti. Ashanti Hanstead. And I believe she is, look, her website is here that she didn't ask for a critique of. Let's click on About. No, Contact. Oh, About's all the way over here. Let's see. Oh, God. Hey, have we met yet? Asante. Midwest wedding, elopement, portrait, photographer based in Springfield, Missouri. Missouri. I take blurry photos. Oh my God!
No,
Steven,
it doesn't say that, does it?
It doesn't say that, but you got to see. You got to see her pictures of her. I would have thought that it was a joke, but when I looked, it's like such a vibe. Wedding photography, hashtag wedding photography, blah, blah, blah. So when it starts off, it's like, this is why you need to ask your photographer for blurry pictures on your wedding day. I don't know if it's a joke. I don't think it's a joke.
Ask for blurry pictures.
I don't think it's a joke. I think her filter on her face is a joke.
I think if you were trying to replicate like a tintype or an old style photo, a vintage photo, I could kind of see the blurry photo thing being a thing. But besides that, no.
Here's why you know it's not a joke, because she commented, to clarify, out of an entire wedding gallery, I usually only include 1 to 3 blurry photos out of 800 to 1,000.
Oh, there you go.
Lots of couples request them. But if you look at the photos, it's one thing to have motion blur, artistic blur, slow shutter speed of the bride frolicking or gallivanting or getting spun around on the dance floor. There's a difference between slow shutter speed that's artistic and just flat out fucking
like a
blurry
rear curtain sync flash slow shutter speed photo. I could see that kind of being a thing with weddings.
Right, but the photos that she's sharing are such garbage. Do you have the link up for Petapixel right now? I gave it to you.
I believe I do. Yes, I do.
Let me keep reading the article, because it is wedding photographer Ashanti, we're calling her Ashanti, posted a video on TikTok showing an example of a blurry photo she had taken of newlywed couples alongside the caption, "This is why you need to ask your photographer for blurry pictures on your wedding." Fuck you.
Whoa.
Wait, it doesn't say fuck you. Whoa. I added that. The short clip took off and has racked up over 4 million views. Speaking to Petapixel, Hanstad says that including a few blurry photos can add variety to a set of wedding pictures, and that her clients are increasingly requesting the aesthetic. I personally love blurry photos as they show movement and make you feel as though you were there in that moment, says Hanstead, who photographs weddings in Missouri and San Diego, which aren't even close to each other.
I don't remember moments as being blurry in my mind. I remember them being tack sharp.
My photography style is very candid and movement oriented, and I think that the blurry photo fits perfectly with that vibe. I quote, "I think that blurry photos are a great way to provide a variety in your gallery and images that you provide to a client. They have become more popular this year, and I'm consistently having clients request them as I find them unique and beautiful." It's just no. Are you looking at these photos, Steven?
Yeah, it almost looks like she's purposely doing camera shake too, because it's not like just the subject is blurry as they're moving and the background is frozen. It's the entire image is kind of a blur.
You look at the outdoor one with the bride who has her left arm holding her dress and she's got a tattoo on it.
That's what I mean. Like the entire image is blurred. It's not like just them are blurred.
That's not artistic. That's called out of fucking focus blurry bullshit. I would not pay. And then the next one, the super high ISO or the 8 million tons of grain that she added to it on the beach. It looks horrible. What is this done with, like a fucking daguerreotype? Like, oh, it's so cool. I wanted to take it all the way back. Hanstad, who shoots with the Canon EOS R6, says that she includes a handful of blurry pictures in the final set of wedding photos for her clients. Most of the time in a wedding gallery of 1,000, there's only 1 to 3 images that are blurred.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Like, I get it.
That's fine.
But these blurry images, in my opinion, most of these are not very good blurry images.
I remember my brother when he first got married. I thought there was a really interesting blurry image, artistically blurred image, in my opinion, where him and the bride, my sister-in-law, they were dancing and he's spinning her. He's pretty much frozen in time. Everything's frozen except her. She's blurred spinning 360. I thought that was very unique. And I think that works. But where it's just a purposely blurred slow shutter image, I don't think there's any art to that, in my opinion.
Right. And I'm just more so, I'm not ripping on her. I'm ripping on the term blurry images. That if you want to talk about artistic, if you want to talk about the slow shutters that we were already talking about, and you want to be creative like that, that's a different story.
Exactly.
But just this selling blurry images, and then you just
like
making
panning,
it blurry on purpose isn't good. So in December last year, Mashable reported on the growing trend for internationally blurry photos on social media, describing the images as aspirational in a sense. How about they just suck as photographers, the people that are posting those? According to Mashable, the aesthetic of blurry photos serves as a reminder to let loose in front of the camera, sometimes and embrace life's candid moments. And in the last year, the photography style has been popularized by celebrities on Instagram like Dua Lipa, Ariana Grande, Olivia Rodrigo. Like the 0.5 selfie trend, which has taken off among Generation Z. Blurry images are a visually evocative antidote to the highly edited and picture-perfect photos commonly seen on social media. No, you guys just suck, you Generation Z little babies.
Now, I do think scrolling down in this article, the rest of these actual photos that she sends the clients, I assume these are the like top 10 keepers, are actually really well done. So this 1 to 3 out of 1,000 images, I'm fine with that. But trying to make it a trend and making it go viral, that's a little much. But I do think she's a pretty solid photographer looking at the other stuff. She's very, her aesthetic too. I like the aesthetic she's got going on.
Anyway, this is not exactly a trend I can get behind, as I've just said. This isn't a reflection of her work. This is a reflection of, and just giving 1 to 3 of these, like, I guess if that makes them happy, sure. But in my opinion, if you want to add motion blur, try it. Like, go on my Instagram and look at the couple of motion blurs I did of the pictures in the World Series.
You mean blurry photos?
Yeah, they're blurry. They're not exactly the greatest thing since sliced bread. I just got a little bored during baseball, even in the World Series, and just was like, let me try to do this.
You texted me the one thing. I was like, I'm surprised you of all people posted blurry pictures. You're like, not blurry.
It's moving. It's
You're like slow
blur.
shutter speed. I'm like, semantics.
It's semantics, bro.
It's
my
blurry.
cleaning people just texted me. My house is all clean. Let me text them back.
Tell them to clean the factory next.
Well, they are. I'm going to have them come to the factory, not today.
Oh, thank God.
But they're going to do a look at the factory, and that's going to be a little more difficult because you can't move anything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have them move anything. All right, let's move on to talk about the cameras that were on the SLS and the Orion spacecraft. So there were 24 total cameras up there. I did reach out to my contacts at NASA to ask what were the cameras that were used. And they didn't really have an answer for me because they didn't dig in deep. But when you go onto the Flickr for the Orion photos that are up currently from space, you see that it was done with GoPro Hero 4 Blacks. GoPro Hero 4 Blacks came out in 2014. And you might be thinking, why are we using 8-year-old plus cameras?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Actually, it is 8 years old. But the answer is simple. These cameras need to go through rigorous testing before they are deemed to be not only safe to fly so that they don't blow up or overheat or malfunction and cause a major issue in space. Everything has to be tested to the nth degree. That's why I'm not a rocket scientist, because there's no way in hell that I would have the patience to do what these NASA people do, to start a rocket years ago and then have it finally take off last week. It's just I don't have that. But in 2016, in 2016, when I was in Houston at NASA, because I wanted to go to NASA, I shot in the buoyancy lab, and then I got to go inside of one of these Orion spaceships. It was probably a mock-up of it, because they probably wouldn't fly that, but this is where they test everything out. So there were a bunch of rocket scientists, actual NASA engineers in there, and they were putting up LED lights, and they're testing out the different frequency waves to see where they're going to get flicker versus not flicker. And then they have less heat when they use the LEDs the way they use them. There were GoPro mounts in there, and that's when they were telling me that that's where the GoPro is going to be to point back at the astronauts. And it was a GoPro Hero 4 Black at the time, and I have photos where you can see the GoPro mount. So that's what they're flying up there, are those GoPro Heroes. And they're probably retrofitted a little bit to make sure that they're safe. And then the photo that they posted definitely needed Skittles, so I went ahead and added Skittles to it. Dude, did you see the before and the after, Steven?
I don't think I did, no.
Go on the Dropbox. It's up on go on the Dropbox right now.
Okay.
It's go on the Dropbox. It's in the folder that says
Fix Images?
Fix Images. Go on Fix Images and click on the one that doesn't say Skittles first.
Okay, I'm there.
Click on that one and then arrow back to the one that says Skittles. Look at the moon. Look at the contrasted details.
It really just looks like the texture slider went to 100.
Steven, how much better does it look? Be honest here.
It's a little crunchy for my taste, but you're also dealing with a processed file already. The moon's a little green tinted for my liking and blue.
That's what the moon looks like.
Doesn't look green and blue. It looks
yes, it
white.
does. No, it doesn't, Steven. No, it doesn't.
Because you've been there?
I have been to the moon.
That would be my only thing. Now, if we were dealing with a RAW file, I think Skittles would look much better. But I do agree that it's a little soft, the original image. Also, the exposure is a little off, but...
It's 1/2500th of a second at like f2.8 ISO 100.
Oh, wow.
I think is what it said.
Wow.
But that's for a smaller sensor. You got to know that.
Did you say f2.8?
So, that's what it said on the but that's a GoPro. Remember,
it's a GoPro,
smaller sensor.
Right, yeah.
So my thing is I wish they had real cameras up there.
Wish they used Skittles on every image.
I wish they. You know what? Why don't we just rename it to NASA? No, we should.
I have Apollo,
Orion.
but that's because that's like a blue tinted aesthetic of a preset.
Apollo works really well for certain things.
It does. I think I based it off of your astronaut headshot.
You did. That's why we named it Apollo. I can't. That's my favorite part of going to be for FroPack 4 is when we sit down to name them again, and you can be like, "What does that have to do with anything?" I can't wait to fight you on
everything.
I'm like, Steven, it doesn't mean anything. Prestige worldwide. What does that even mean?
Exactly.
Nothing. It's called marketing, Steven.
And if you're a fan of Skittles, but you want a little toned down, I highly recommend Prestige Worldwide, by the way.
Prestige Worldwide. Boats and hose. Boats and hose. So, so that's what's being used up there. There's 24 of those cameras, or I would suspect more GoPros inside and outside and around the modulars. And they're not just for taking pictures, selfies. They're for scientific purposes like making sure there's no damage to the Orion and seeing any other results that might be needed.
So does that GoPro Hero 4 take like a DNG RAW photo, or is it just straight up JPEG?
I don't think they took DNG RAW photos.
I don't think they did either. I mean, you would think they would want more of a modern camera where they can manipulate the raw data, but I guess they care more about like, will it even last up there versus the quality of it?
Well, but they do care about quality because remember back in the day they bought like 32 D4s to go up into space and they retrofit it. And that brings us to the next main part of the story, which is how did Nikon end up being the camera manufacturer that got the deal from NASA to manufacture the cameras. And the story that I was told was they went to Pentax and they went to Minolta and they went to, Sony didn't exist yet for that, but they went to Canon, they went to Olympus, they went to all these camera manufacturers, and none of them would agree to retrofit their cameras to make them space ready for the specifications for space. Now, the reasons are, they're like, well, we'll have to stop the assembly line. We'll have to make changes, and we can't do that. But Nikon was like, we'll do that. And I think they ended up including a lot of the manufacturing changes, like the way they coated the wires, the way they protected things, into the final cameras that were actually meant for Earth for people to use. So that's why Nikon is what's flying in space right now. Now, a lot of companies have caught up to this, right? They shield their wires and do all of the way that they do. But because of the long-standing relationship that they've had with NASA and Nikon, they continue to use them. I'm pretty sure when the next Artemis goes up, which is going to be a personed mission, they're going to be taking Nikons back up there. But I don't know that there'll be Z9s or not because there is that lead time of testing that they need to do.
So my thing is, why don't they take those retrofitted newer cameras that were specifically made for space photography, for astrophotography, like the EOS RA or the D850A or D810A, whatever it was, from Nikon, where they had a dedicated sensor for astrophotography?
Because I don't think that that's what they're trying to do from space. They don't need that. They're shooting Earth usually. They're shooting the moon.
But they're still in space shooting space.
Yeah, but I thought that the only reason you would get those other ones is they had different filters removed from them.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know what they should do, Steven? They should have a camera where you can input Skittles right into it, so every picture you take is Skittles.
Well, it's like the FX30s and the FX3 and the R5C, where you can input your own LUT for video. They need to do that with photography now and input your own preset. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, but I guess that's because it's a proprietary Lightroom XMP file.
Right. We don't need to, especially because... So I've always pumped up my...
But it's essentially what Fuji does with their cameras. They have the baked-in profiles that you can then create that instant JPEG with the baked-in preset. It's the same thing. It's just
People
that's their
still
own...
think they're cool. They still think they're cool when they shoot
cool,
Fuji.
some of them.
That's great. Oh, look, it's a film simulator. Cool. You can do that after the fact with the RAW too, you dumbass.
It's just nice you can get it straight out of the camera.
I guess if you want to have that film look.
By the way, have you looked at some of these photos from NASA's official Flickr stream in terms of what cameras they use and all of that?
Yeah, I did. It was like 6D. Right?
It's funny because
Z9.
setting wise, like this one photo from the launch pad, which I assume is a remote because it's so close, like it's at 6400 ISO and with a 6D and everything's completely blown out.
Are you kidding me, Steven?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Are you kidding me right now? That's what the settings say?
Yep.
That's terrible. That's really not good, Steven. I didn't say it. You said it. I'm not happy with those results. I'm not happy with hearing that, Steven.
But there's definitely different photographers photographing for NASA because there's some really solid ones. You can tell some of them have been highly edited and some of them look like baked to almost straight out camera JPEGs.
They have a lot of different photographers.
Yeah, like this one, for example, is from the 6D with the Pancake 20mm f2.8 EF lens, and it's 6400 ISO, 1/800th of a second f6.3, and you can tell they had to recover a lot of the highlights or tried to.
Dude,
and it's a super noisy image.
That's insane. At that exposure is insane.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, for the fact that I was shooting at 100 ISO at f8 at 1/3200th of a second, and they were at f6.3, 1/800th of a second at a higher ISO than me.
Now, my only question is, I wonder, again, since these were close to the pad, they're probably remotes and they're probably in like some kind of automatic mode, not manual.
Well, they're in cases
because there's a couple of these photos from the same location and there are different settings.
That's weird. Maybe they just set it to program.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I can't see that EXIF data.
I wouldn't have set it to program personally.
And then you have the Z9 inside shooting the NASA administrator Bill Nelson.
Yeah, it's Bill Nelson.
You'll love this. 1/125th of a second, nice and blurry.
Wait, is it motion blur or is it for a wedding?
It's definitely like motion blur of him like talking.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the setting?
It's 1/125th of a second, f2.8, ISO 720, so they were clearly in some kind of auto mode.
720?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
No!
And it's with a Z9. Z9 and the 24-72.8S.
Oh yeah, guys, we need to use auto ISO. Auto ISO is the greatest thing ever because they really want to get that 1/125th of a second for that really shitty photo.
But both I will say both the white balance and the everything's off on it. It shocks me that they're officially shooting for NASA with these kind of settings.
Well, you got to remember it's a governmental organization. Anybody can apply for the job at NASA. Really, it's not the highest paying gig in the world. It's a government job.
Yeah.
So they do hire interns. They do hire people out of college.
Yeah, because someone here is now shooting with a Nikon Z6 II, and that's
definitely out of focus.
No, actually, these photos, whoever shot those, proper white balance, still focuses a little off on some of these.
Do you have the name?
The name of the photographer? Does it say that?
I don't know.
I don't think so, no.
Just as copyright NASA?
Yeah. Some rights reserved.
Some rights reserved. Some nights I wish I was so... Anything else you want to talk about, Steven, today?
I think that's it. Note-wise, I think we're pretty... Oh, well, with Artemis, while we're talking about that, the 360 footage, I wanted to bring that up for a second.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
My personal favorite is when we finished that little short. Your dad... You want to talk about that? What he said?
Yeah, do you want... He called me. I sent it to him. And his first response was... how are the comments looking? Did anybody comment on that it just seems so far away and it just seems not as sharp as I would expect from a launch?
It's not Jared Polin standards. What's going on here?
So that was what my dad said. He was trying to make sure to see if other people commented about certain things
before he commented on it,
before he said the thing that he didn't like. And then when I explained to him, Dad, I'm 3 miles away using a 360 camera, and that's me in the video. Really, you're in the video? I didn't see that. It was just like. then I had to explain to him 360, and then he's like, oh, now I get it.
And for those that didn't see this particular short or reel that we posted, it was the 360 camera, the 1-inch module that Jared used while he was photographing the Artemis taking off, and he just set it and forget it, and that's fine. It's, one-man band. I wasn't there, obviously, photographing or shooting with him video. So he gave it to me and was like, can we do something with this? And I'm like, all right, well, let's see if I can do something out of like one angle. It's 360, so you can really manipulate the footage. And I think it came out cool. I mean, obviously it looks like it was filmed on a potato because it's super dark out. I don't expect much from a 1-inch sensor, but I think what we did with it still looks pretty cool with sound effects, music. You actually hear the thrust of the rocket.
It is really good.
But you came back that day and you're like, yeah, my dad just called and he said, so quality of that.
Yep, that's Dad. That's what happens. But if you want to buy a print, there are 12 left, I think. 12 limited edition prints of the launch. They're 17 by 22. It is bit.ly/FroRocket. There are 12 of them left. They are signed and numbered. So the next one, I believe, is number 38 or 39 out of 50. And the people that did order them, thank you very much. I have included shipping for the 125. So shipping is included in there. No extra money added to the 125.
And back to that 360 footage. If you do want to see it, if you haven't seen it yet, YouTube now kind of buries the shorts. Instead of it being on the video feed, you now have to go into the specific shorts tab if you are on either the mobile app or on desktop. So it's a little harder to find. And live streams too. There's now a separate tab for live streams too. Or just go on Jared's Instagram, that too.
It's on my Instagram. It's the latest reel. But anyway, it starts, I think the thumbnail has a number 10 in it.
Yes.
For the countdown.
Yep.
So
because that was the hard part though, was the first 10 seconds you wanted to hear the countdown and keep it in, but it's just pitch black. All you can see is really the NASA building, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you did what you could do with it, Stephen, and you failed, as my dad would tell you.
I tried.
Stephen, can you make this better? Can you get closer? Can you please get closer? I mean, yeah, it's not going to look detailed because it's a 1-inch sensor from 3 miles away in the night, and it's going to follow that blur up in the sky.
And I think I was zooming in like 200% on certain clips. I mean, it's going to look noisy. It's going to look like crap, but whatever. It is what it is.
I think it looks pretty good, and I think people really like the feel of it. And you did a good job with the storytelling, so that's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we're gonna wrap it there. You could Venmo Steven by Venmoing me directly at Jared Polin if you want to Venmo. Just give us a little note. What are you sending money for? How much you want to send? Like, what's it for? And should I give it to Steven or not give it to Steven?
Oh man, I'm never gonna see that money.
It's always the question. I can Venmo you, Steven. I can include it in your check.
I mean, you've denied all my requests
take taxes
so far.
out of it, and so you'll be left with 12 cents. All right, guys. This is episode number 26. I didn't come up with any hashtags. You guys come up with your hashtags. I guess they didn't just pop out in my mind this time. Hashtag fuck blurry photos. Out of focus.
Still continue to give us some feedback, some reviews on Apple Podcasts, maybe a 5-star rating if you can on Spotify.
And hit the subscribe button so that the video, the tracks automatically download into your queue, so they're ready to go when you wake up. Or
yes, sir.
Not. So really, I'm just saying we want to pad our numbers. So that's why I want you to auto download it. It makes us look better when we decide to just feel good about ourselves when we see the numbers hit 10,000 and climb. You can always text us at 313-710-9729. So Stephen, you have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
You don't forget to work, and I will.
Can't wait.
I will sign off. This is Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.
Bye.
Don't eat turkey. Remember, eat chicken.
Gobble,
Turkey's
gobble.
terrible. Do you think Chick-fil-A is open on Thanksgiving?
I'm going to say no.
They should be open because they should be open. All right. Bye, everybody.